We have some really exciting news, guys. We're hearing that the CPI data is coming out today, and if the data is going to be, if the results are correct, we're going to start seeing some easing, quantitative easing coming in. Where the job market data wasn't that great a few days ago, but I'm hearing of rate cuts happening. Rate cuts are supposed to start happening, after September 14th, probably after the next FOMC meeting. I believe that is the date. If I got it wrong, go have a look. But the but most people are now talking about an all season coming back, okay, which is going to be somewhere in October. So you need to be positioned in the right place. You need to get the right information, the right knowledge. And the best place is Crypto Ronins, guys. Okay, join our premium Discord if you want to be ahead of the game. Now, let me give you another example. So today we're continuing our series of results. Where my analysis has beaten the market. Okay, most people never saw this coming, but I did, and that's because of the research that we have done. Me and my team, the research that we do, it matters. Okay, it makes a difference. All right. So the project that I'm going to be talking about, which could have given you a six-figure return in a bit more than a year, which is not bad at all. This one is called Kujira. Ticker is Kuji. Okay, Kuji. Now, what makes this project really, really interesting is that they were originally building on Terra Luna's blockchain. Okay, and basically, as you know, in 2022, Terra Luna, in fact, after 2021, Terra Luna had a massive crash. We all know that. So Kujira were actually building on Terra Luna's blockchain. And then when that entire fiasco happened with Luna, then Kujira just crashed. It crashed to the ground. Okay, and because they were in their very initial phases. Okay, and they went down significantly. Now, most people were already very nervous. Okay, I told my business partner and a few other people in a private group. At that time, we did not have our Discord or our Patreon at that time. So at that time, I told them now is the time to enter into altcoins. And everybody, and majority, okay, majority were saying, most people were saying, do not get into the crypto markets right now. They are choppy. Wait for the institutions to come in, this and that. Okay, I kept saying that this is the time to get in. This is the time to get in. This is the time to get in. Because if you keep, and the people always give the argument, well, in the previous cycle this happened and that happened. The problem is when you're stuck in a narrative of the past, you're like cement. Okay, you cannot move further. You cannot move on. You cannot adapt. Okay, so that lack of adaptation causes people to make the wrong decisions. I said when the institutions are going to come in, they are going to literally make your lives miserable for a very long period of time. And that's exactly what they did. They manipulated the markets. They have the most amount of money. You cannot win against the institutions. Try to understand this. Your 100,000 or even $1 million wouldn't matter. Well, actually, you know what? If you had $1 million, yeah, you could make some difference. But your 100K, your 30K, your 20K, your 1K or 5K, whatever, compare that to asset managers and companies that are holding billions and even trillions. You're literally competing with those people. For them, even a 5 to 10% move in an asset is very, very great because they have a lot more money to place, and they have a lot of money. That they have. They have a lot of backing. The more gunpowder you have, the better it is. It's just how it is, guys. So then, okay, and that's exactly what happened when the institutions came in. They decided to manipulate the hell out of these markets. Most leverage traders lost all their money. People that got into that positioned themselves in some really, really good alts. Okay, right now a lot of them are down. Okay, I'm not saying they're not going to go back up, but they're just down. So you can't really do much. The more you start making money, the more you can start making different moves, right? Moving your assets, positioning, strategizing. Okay. So you're stuck. Okay. And that is exactly what the institutions did. Okay. They basically, they're making it very difficult for you to make money right now. And so that's exactly what happened. And most people at that time were saying, well, when Donald Trump comes in and the institutions come in, the markets are going to turn bullish. I was like, no, it's not going to happen very quickly. And I was saying, you need to get into the you need to get into the right projects before any of that happens. Okay. So now I would say when the alt season actually comes, it'll be the second coming of the alt season. I saw the alt season, okay, which most people are not even talking about. And that happened before the Gary Gensler crash. Gary Gensler and his institutional buddies crashed the market on purpose. Okay. This is how they do things. All right. People can say it's conspiracy, it's whatever. No. Imagine announcing a few hours before the ETFs are out that we haven't really brought out the ETFs yet. That spread a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, which caused a lot of people to panic sell. That made the markets go down significantly, and then the ETFs came out. Do you understand the game? It's all about emotions. If you keep your emotions in check, you win. If you're not thinking from a logical perspective, if you're too emotional, you lose. That's just how it is. That's how the game works. So you have to really, really be vigilant. So anyways, the project that I was giving was back in 2022. So we were talking about Kujira. And Kujira, back in 2022, it was at 0.001787. That's when I noticed it. And I told my business partner at 0.0018 to get into that project. Okay? And basically, I told my small private group at that time too, because we didn't have the Patreon or the Discord group that we have now, which is on our, which we're telling you to join. It didn't exist at that time. So had she invested on, in May, like I would say, late May, around $2,000, that would have given you by December 14, 2023, more than $5 million. Imagine imagine having so much dry powder to play with. Imagine being a millionaire, in just a little bit more than a year, right? Not bad at all, is it? Okay. And of course, you could have sold at 10 cents. You could have sold at 1 cent. You could have sold at whatever. That's up to you. But the point is that if you held on, if you understood where things are heading, okay, because I told my group that this is a long-term hold. Kujira is a long-term hold. They're building some fantastic DeFi projects. They never gave up. They moved from the Luna after the Luna crash to Cosmos, and they started building there. And that's how it caught on. The team was great. It still is now. So that $2,000 would have been more than $5 million, guys. Okay, on December 14th. That's a great, fantastic return. You think that's not an alt season? That was an alt season. That's a real alt season, And so what you have to realize is that understanding the narratives and understanding what's going on. The team was fantastic. The narrative was fantastic. The timing was fantastic. That's how it worked. Okay. So once all of that happened, okay, and now recently they have collaborated with a few other projects and they have rebranded to a project called Rujira. Now, there is a lot of competition in DeFi now. So look into it. Look into Rujira. We know where, and the ticker is RUJI. Am I recommending you get into it? No, I'm not. If you like what you see, think about it, look into it. But I'm not looking at that. My point was that at that point, Kujira had the narrative, had the right things going for it, and that's why I was going to give the highest returns. Because also, the Injective community was heavily invested in it. Injective is one of the best crypto projects that has been around since the last bull run as well. So a lot of these factors added up, and this is where the deep research comes in, guys, okay? This is where the understanding comes in of the markets, and most people did not see that, but luckily I did, all right? Luckily, actually, luck is not even the correct word. It's about understanding things. It's about not being stuck in the past, because when you're stuck in the past, you're like cement. Okay, so these are the type of results that we were giving in that private group, and these are the type of results that we will see when a proper all season starts, and it will. Right now, most when that Gary Gensler crash happened, a lot of influencers were saying it's only going to be Bitcoin from now on. Nothing else is going to go up, and this and that. This industry won't even exist. It's this and that. Do you understand? They get paid to say all this. This is their game. This is their These are their manipulation tactics. So you want to be ahead of that. You want to be ahead of all that drama. All right. And in order to be ahead, join Crypto Ronins now. We have done some fantastic research. We're going to be doing more. We're going to be adding more content. We don't add content every day because we want to give you quality over quantity. Okay. So join us now. Join Crypto Ronins. All right. You can see the pricing below, of whichever program you choose. Join us and let's make a lot of money when this proper all season kicks off. All right. Right now is the time to buy. You don't start buying when everything is going crazy, when everything is going 50x, 100x at once. You buy when nobody's talking about things. When people are bearish, that's when you start buying. That's when you start accumulating. So understand what you're buying. All right. So join Crypto Ronins now, guys, because time is running out, and you really want to be well positioned in these markets right now. Join Crypto Ronins now.